You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Shrew Lady sings it. That makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show. It's been around for 16 years and 2,200 episodes, going on 2,300. We bring you the smartest people, the people that share with you their stories, their journeys, their insights, their expertise to help you make your life better. Your live life better? Sounds like, am I gotten dyslexic or something in my brain? I don't know, I'm having a seizure. Anyway, guys, it's probably just another show on the Chris Voss Show. So welcome. As always, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, and the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the interwebs in the sky. Today, we have an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her insights and her business. We have Adele Crane joining us. She's director and business growth advisor for sales and marketing, and she is the director for a consulting firm that assists clients to improve their sales and marketing performance, alignment, and strategy. She's got over 30 years of experience in the field and has assisted over 200 companies and 11,000 professionals across various industries and regions to achieve sustainable and profitable growth. She's also an accomplished author of 3 books, a podcaster, and a blogger who shares her insights and expertise with her global audience. One of her most recent books was out recently. Let's see if I can pull it. The Sales Focused CEO, looking at business through a new lens. Welcome to the show, Adele. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am excellent. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find out more about you on the show?
They can go to salesfocusadvisory.com, and there's a lot of information and blogs there available. And we've just launched this year a new podcast, Secrets to Accelerated Growth, and you can find that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
There you go. Congratulations on launching the podcast. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you do there at the company.
We specialize in sales and marketing, but we work on a very short time frame. So being one of the only people who has consistently delivered significant growth in 90 to 120 days, we get to the real things that need to be done and not the noise that a lot of people get involved in. So it's referred to as unvarnished. It's what makes it work and how you make money.
There you go. What makes it work and how you make money. Now, you've been doing this for a long time. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your book that we cited there and what people are going to find in it, The Sales Focused CEO?
Sales Focused CEO is a book about assisting company directors to understand more what they should be expecting from marketing and sales departments. There's a lot of rhetoric goes on about what can and can't be done. And this book says, no, this is what works. This is all the things you need to focus on, and you need to match up that sales and marketing department and make them both responsible for revenue, not have them disabled in different directions.
Yeah, because sometimes they oppose each other, right? If they don't have the same mission going the same way.
We call it the Chinese wall. They just don't want to get together.
The Chinese wall. So, there's the territorial nature sometimes of departments, maybe.
It's very territorial. There's a lack of understanding sometimes in marketing departments over what they should be doing to really support sales. And sales can be a little dismissive sometimes if it's not exactly what they had in mind. So it's about trying to get those two to fit together and understand each other a bit better.
It's sometimes, sales can be, resented. Some people don't like the sales department, sometimes because they got a little bit of swagger, they make a lot of money, yada, 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 right? They just sometimes
wouldn't want to have a sales department that doesn't have swagger and doesn't want to make money.
True.
That's what drives everybody having a job in the business, is that sales department. So we need to make sure that it's the best we can do for them so that they can deliver the results.
Oh yeah, totally, totally. So tell us about some of your history. How did you grow up? What influenced you? How did you get into these lines of work, et cetera, et cetera?
Started off in going down the line of accounting, like all good children, you're told to get a degree.
Uh-huh.
So headed in that direction and realised that sitting behind a desk was not my future.
Hmm.
So coming from a family of business entrepreneurs, it was probably more natural I'd go the entrepreneur line. So I owned a few businesses, and then in about 1990s became very clear that I had an ability to see problems with clarity and fix them very quickly. So since then, I've been consulting in across the Asia Pacific and Americas, and had a lot of fun turning around problem businesses. So people
Oh,
would say, "Is it banks knocking on the door? What do I do?" And we'd sort it out in 120 days and get them back to cash.
there you go. That's a nice quick fix, right?
Yes, it's a
Yeah,
very rough ride. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of tension, but it's better than losing your business. So a lot of
that's
skills
true.
were learnt in turnarounds.
There you go. Turnaround's a great way to learn stuff because you can see what people are doing, and sometimes it's they're off just a little bit, and a little bit of tweaking can help get them back on track, right?
Yeah, often it's a lack of wanting to let go. So their business is growing, things start to go
Hmm.
bad, so they hang on tighter, and that's when they need to let go. But then they've got to let go to the right people. So it becomes all about hiring and measurement to make sure
Hmm.
that the results are going to come in.
Yeah, it's all about the hiring and doing hiring well. We learned that in
Mm.
our businesses that spending the time and effort to hire well instead of hire quickly, do multiple interviews, get to know people before you bring them in. That fixes a lot of problems. When we used to just hire people on the first interview, boy, we sure collected a lot of problems.
Yeah. I always recommend when you're hiring in a field that you don't know a lot
Hmm.
about, is to bring in an expert from that field, someone that you trust, so they can listen to the noise and work out how much value can this person deliver.
Hmm.
It's like if I was to go and hire someone to manage a warehouse, I would
Hmm.
not know anything about managing warehouses. So if I don't have an expert sitting in that interview, I could go on quite a journey, and an expensive one.
Oh yeah, very expensive. There's always money you can spend that throw good money after bad sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So now you help businesses. What do you find most people are struggling with nowadays in business? What do you find that they're coming to you asking for help on mostly?
They've failed to catch the change in buyer behavior.
Hmm.
So they're applying ideas and methods that are tried and true, but they're from an era that was pre the internet. So
Ah,
buyers are very savvy now. They don't need salespeople.
no.
They learn a lot on the internet. So salespeople are late to the dance. Whereas in years gone by, you'd be able to pick up the phone, make a cold call. An example would be you could ring someone and say, "Hi, I'm from Xerox. Are you tired of manually photocopying things? Have we got a machine for you?" And they'd have an appointment. Now you just can't pick up a phone and start a sale like we
Yeah,
used to with those unique products.
yeah, and they, like you mentioned, they do their own research now, and so they're
Mm.
pretty savvy on different products and what's being sold and what's not. At least in most cases. There
Yeah.
you go. And so you
So
help clients work through it. Hmm.
okay, go.
And do you how do you usually work through clients? Do you do a lot of Zoom calls, or do you go out to their place? How do some of the different formats of business that you use?
Depends where they're located and the degree of challenge that we believe is going to be there. So, and the number of players that are involved that want to
Oh
sit
yeah.
around the table. That's always a question. Typically, what we always start with is a review of their sales and marketing. Where are they at? What's happening? What tools have they got? How's it operating? How much money are they spending? And look at it and develop a plan and say, okay, this is what we're going to cut, this is what we're going to add, and this is how your life will change.
Hmm.
So it's very clear, and it's a case of everybody has to either step in or find the opportunity of a lifetime somewhere else.
Tell us about the podcast, Secrets to Accelerated Growth. What do you plan to do? How many episodes do you guys have so far? And
We've only
what
just
do you
kicked
plan?
off. Only just
Okay.
kicked off a couple of weeks ago. So we're doing an episode a week. At the moment, we're just getting half a dozen together that give an idea about the bases and principles of secrets to accelerating the growth. And then we'll bring on some sales managers, marketing managers, and do some interviews around their experiences and share that knowledge so everyone can keep learning.
Yeah. The more you know, as they
Yes.
say on the on all the things. So what do you talk about CEOs and the importance of them being able to look through the business through a new lens? Is that basically like learning to operate outside the box, learning to see your scotomas and your blind spots, trying to see your business from different angles that maybe the consumer is wanting?
I think it's more focused on them having the right measurement that's going to give the real facts. I mean, CEO lives by a sales forecast. They live by, is marketing generating enough leads? What's going on? And if those numbers aren't coming in, we've got to set up some go-to things that they can look at and say, why aren't you doing this? What's going here? What's going there? And I call it, they've got to do horizon management. They've got to be looking well in advance, not just we made it this quarter.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
They've got to be able to see the trends and make the adjustments early enough that it's going to resolve any potential problems.
Mm-hmm. And so do you find that getting departments together, getting ready to play in the same field is one of the things that a leader has to kind of try and get people motivated to do?
Definitely. A CEO needs to invest in getting that marketing department and sales department in a project, working together and understanding each person's contribution. It's the world has changed that much in buyer behavior that we can't say the sales department is solely responsible for revenue now. We need to say it's the marketing department contributes a far greater amount than ever before towards that revenue number. So they both need to be responsible and holding hands, getting on well, making it work together as a team.
There you go. And it's sometimes a thing where people are afraid of change. They're afraid of, no one wants to have their cheese moved. What do you tell people like that?
The cheese has moved.
Whether you like it or not, that cheese is moving, damn it.
This is the whole thing about acceleration. There's no time to just have passengers on the bus. You've either got to be committed to going forward or you need to go and catch a new bus somewhere else. And often when they do leave, they're in the same predicament at the next place they go to. The world is changing and you've just got to snap along with it and keep going.
Yeah, there you go. The world is changing, ladies and gentlemen. The world is changing. If you don't change, right, your competitors will change for you. They'll enact changes where they either you eat your own lunch or they'll eat your lunch for you, right?
Absolutely. There's a lot of agile businesses out there, and there's a lot of very smart CEOs that work hard at taking market share. So you need to be aware of what they're doing and try to keep in the game or ahead of the game.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be at the back of the line.
Absolutely.
As it were. So there you go. Let's see. What else is there to? What else have we covered that we want to talk to people about and get them familiar with your work?
I think we should have a brief chat about the marketing side. It's long been held marketing's about PR and brand management. All those things are very necessary. But the great marketer of today is the person who can generate leads, who knows how to get the inquiry into the business and understand the buyer journey, where they're at in their process. Are they early researchers, late researchers, and how do we keep grooming them ready to hand them over to sales?
Yeah. And so you're pretty sales focused, it sounds like, in making sure the sales departments are getting along with everybody and working at their highest efficiency.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what are some other things that you find people are struggling with now today?
I think the rising cost of trying to do marketing and which leads into sales. It's a very busy, noisy market out there, and trying to break through a lot of that noise and be recognized by buyers in that haven't come across your company before is really difficult. And there's a lot of cost associated with it. So you have to be very careful you're not throwing a lot of money in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I see that a lot. I see companies saying, we need to spend more, where, we're spending 10% of our revenue on marketing. We need to go to 15. And we can often show, no, you don't. You can go back to 3% and get a better result.
So what's the key to making that transition better functional? Or some of the keys, or maybe a tease out?
Clarity is number one. People need to know what's ahead.
Okay.
They need to understand and be able to have enough transparency that it makes sense to them. A lot of the times recommendations are made and they don't make sense. They're too far off to the right, or it's repackaging some old practice from years ago that's still irrelevant, even though it's got new gift wrap on it.
Do you find that it's because they don't fully understand what they're doing in that case?
Quite often it's they don't understand.
Sales?
Just both sales and marketing. So both have come from a background where it's perceived as a mystique type function. If you look at finance, it's a robotic process. There's a discipline, you learn it. It's like law, you learn it. Sales is, and got a lot of innate sense in it. Marketing's got a lot of innate sense in it when it comes to creativity, etc. And I think that's what makes it so challenging for companies, is how do you know what's real and what's not real?
Yeah.
And from a CEO's point of view, they're looking at two tools. They've got a forecast and they're saying this is good or this is bad. And they've got an expense sheet and they're saying this is good or this is bad. So it's quite a nerve-wracking situation for a CEO who never came from a marketing and sales background.
Do you find that a lot of CEOs struggle with that nowadays, where they don't fully understand the marketing and sales and give it its due?
It is a problem, but the worst problem is sales and marketing can't explain it to them either.
Oh, wow. So someone needs to have
a lot of salespeople and sales leaders. Most sales leaders come from a sales background. They don't come from a management background. They're very poor on the administrative side of things, and reporting, the famous enter it in the CRM, all those things are not normal to them. So they have trouble explaining it all up to the CEO, and the CEO has trouble interpreting what they're saying.
Wow. And if you don't have that, you don't have sales. So there you go. Anything more we want to discuss and tease out on the show before we go?
No, I'd say we've got an overview of what we're doing, and I think it'd be great if people want to follow on the podcast and we flesh this out over a period of time and let them learn a lot more about the depth of what goes on in the sales and marketing side of the business.
There you go. And so people can reach out to you. Do you do what are most of what you do? Do you do coaching one-on-one, or do you do like courses or anything like that?
We don't do courses. We work directly with the CEO. So if a CEO has a problem or has a concern, is starting to get a bit worried about things, they can reach out. We can have a conversation, and then I can, if we look like we can assist them, organise for a review, and then from there on, logic applies with what we find.
All right. Sounds good then. Well, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, Adele. Thanks for audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.